All right, the title of your notes is going to be Section 3.11 Factoring Expressions. Factoring expressions. So we're getting pretty fluent at the distributive property, and we're going to use it here when we factor our expressions. So we know that we create equivalent expressions. We create equivalent expressions using factoring and multiples. Okay, so your GCF and LCM, they come in handy here. For example, when we see something like this, 6 plus 10, okay, we create what we call our equivalent expressions. So we write it as a blank times a quantity, blank plus blank. So, and you can just draw two blank squares. Okay, so what we do is we find the GCF of 6 and 10 by factoring. We know these are your primes. And then we also know that when we factor out 10, we get 2 and 5. Okay? So when we write out our factors, prime factors of 6 and 10, we have 2 and 3 and 2 and 5. So we do know that our GCF is 2. So we just plug in our GCF 2 right into that first line. Okay, so we know that our GCF is 2. And then what we do is we just, in this case, after we factor our numbers, we just multiply for missing numbers. So 2 times what will give you 6, and 2 times what will give you 10. Well, we know 2 times 3 will give you 6. So we plug in 3, and we know 2 times 5 will give you 10. So we just plug in 5. That's it. So our equivalent expression is, we have 6 plus 10. That also equals our equivalent expression is 2 times the quantity 3 plus 5. That's it. So here is our equivalent expression. 2 times the quantity 3 plus 5. That's it. So when you look at steps, there are 3 easy steps to factor equivalent expressions. And you can abbreviate EE on there. EE means equivalent expressions. We've seen that. So step 1 is to rewrite EE, your equivalent expression, with blank lines. So, and we do that just by doing that blank line times the quantity box times box plus box on there. Blank line times quantity box plus box. All right. Step 2 is factor numbers. And so we just factor. We find the prime factorization. We find the GCF. And then lastly, we plug in GCF, and we multiply for missing numbers. That's it. Those are your 3 steps. So step 1, rewrite EE with blank lines. Step 2, factor your numbers. And step 3, plug in your GCF, multiply for missing numbers. So let's see what this looks like. Number 1 is 20 plus 4. So we must factor this expression. So step 1 is to just rewrite with blank lines. Equals blank times the quantity box plus the box. Okay? So what we do here is we just, step 1, done. Step 2, factor. 2 numbers multiplied give you 20 is 4 times 5. And we can break down 4 into 2 and 2. So our prime factors are 2, 2, and 5. And our factors of 4 that are prime are 2 and 2. So when we list them out, 20 has the factors 2, 2, and 5, and 4 has the factors 2 and 2. So to find the GCF, circle your commons, and we know 2 times 2 will give you 4, so your GCF is 4. Now we take that GCF and we just plug in right there. So now we have 4 times the quantity blank plus blank. So 4 times what will give you 20, and 4 times what will give you 4. Well, that's simple. We know that is 4 times 5 will give you 20, and 4 times 1 will give you 4. So your equivalent expression is 4 times the quantity 5 plus 1. That's it. 4 times quantity 5 plus 1 is your answer. Let's try another one. Number 2 is, and I'll just draw a line right here so you can see that division just a little bit better. Number 2 is 15 plus 25. 15 plus 25. So step 1 is to just rewrite your EE, your equivalent fraction with, or equivalent expression with blank lines. Blank times the quantity box plus box. Should be able to squeeze that in right there. All right. So step 2 is just factor. So what times what will give you 15? 3 and 5. Good. 3 times 5 will give you 15. And we know 5 times 5 will give you 25. So when you list your factors of 15 and 25, we have 3 and 5 and 5 and 5. All right. We know our GCF is 5. GCF is 5. So we take that GCF and we just plug that in out front. That's step 3. Step 3, plug in your GCF. And then 5 times what will give you 15, and 5 times what will give you 25. Good. That's 3 and 5. So just plug in your 3 and plug in your 5. So your answer is 5 times the quantity 3 plus 5 is your equivalent expression. That's it. That's it. Let's try another one. On number 3 is 16 plus 24. Number 3 is 16 plus 24. Okay? And then step 1 just says rewrite with your blank lines. Rewrite your equivalent expression. Blank times the quantity plus a quantity. Okay? Now step 2 is just to factor your numbers. So 16 has the factors 4 times 4. And we can break that down even further into 2 and 2. We know those are all prime numbers. And then we do the same for 24. So for 24, we know it's 6 times 4. We break 6 into 2 and 3. And we can break 4 into 2 and 2. So when you write out your factors of 16 and 24, we have 2, 2, 2, and 2. In 24, we have 2, 2, 2, and 3. So we have many in common here. So we know that 2 times 2 times 2 equals 8. 8 is your GCF. That's it. So right there we have step 2 complete. So step 3 just says plug in GCF and multiply for missing numbers. So we plug in our GCF at 8. All right, and then we just have 8 times what will give you 16. And 8 times what will give you 24. Well, we know 8 times 2 will give you 16, so plug in your 2. And 8 times 3 will give you 24. So your equivalent expression is 8 times quantity, 2 plus 3. 8 times the quantity, 2 plus 3, is your EE. That's it. That's it. Let's try another one. Number 4 is 40 plus 8. 40 plus 8. Step 1, just rewrite with your blank lines. Blank times quantity square plus square. or blank plus blank. All right, and then just factor your numbers, step 2. So we know 40 has factors 4 and 10, and they can be broken down into 2, 2, 2, and 5. And your factors of 8 are 2 and 4, and 4 can be broken down into 2, 2, and 2. All right, so just list out your factors, low to high, GCF, 2, 2, 2, and 5, and that is 2, 2, and 2. All right, so just circle your commons. So we know our GCF, 2 times 2 times 2, will give you 8. GCF is 8. So step 3 is just plug in your GCF and multiply. 8 is your GCF, and 8 times what will give you 40. And 8 times what will also give you 8. Well, 8 times 5 will give you 40, and 8 times 1 will give you 8. So your equivalent expression is 8 times the quantity, 5 plus 1. 8 times the quantity, 5 plus 1, will give you your equivalent expression. That's it. That's it. Go and try numbers 5, 6, and 7 on your own. Number 5 is 21 plus 15. Number 6 is 44 plus 33. And number 7 is 24 plus 22. Go and try numbers 5, 6, and 7 on your own.